Hey y'all, how are you? So, like I said earlier, I'm going live. I'm live now. And I had some things that I wanted to share with you all. It's been an interesting, I guess you could say month or two. I don't know where to start. I mean, I know I have this video titled, This Conversation or Conversations with Saint Germain, plus the wake up call from Spirit. But I just want to start off with saying that I know that these energies recently have been intense and they have really shaken us up to the core. I feel like it's very chaotic, and if you are sensitive physically, you may feel it in your physical body as, sensations in your heart. I know for me, like, I don't know if you remember one of the lives that I did a while ago, where I was talking about my eyes and, the energy along the eyes here that was kind of bothering me, and that's why I was guided to change my diet. And I did, and I'm maintaining it. I've had to be a little bit more flexible with it because it was very hard for me to stay nourished. Eating completely like clean or vegan, like I can't do that yet. So, I made some adjustments, but not too crazy of an adjustment. So, physically, my body could acclimate to these changes. Hi, Margaret. Thank you for joining me. So, I made those changes, but I feel like anytime now that my spirit, my body, whatever, is going through some sort of spiritual change, I feel it along this area. And it's not just isolated. I feel like the energy is running from the eyes into the back of the head and into the neck and down into the chest area. So I've been feeling things within my chest, but then also here with the eye area. Hi, Crystal. Thank you for joining me. Oh, I'm just so glad that you could come and watch this, watch me ramble. So when I posted the stuff on Instagram today, I had mentioned the lavender because it was something that came up earlier, and I decided to use, I have some lavender oil mixed with jasmine, and it was amazing. It really worked well. And sometimes you allow yourself to suffer for a certain period of time before you do something, or you don't always know exactly how to proceed with helping yourself feel better. But the lavender really did wonders for me, so that's why I recommended it to you. It really helped because sometimes when we're taking in a lot of energy, the energy can get really intense, let's say on one side, or things can get really like I don't want to say backed up, but if there's a lot of energy going on in one area, like for me it's the heart up, the energy can get kind of like focused there. So I feel like the lavender helped the energy, whatever's coming through the crown area, it helped it to kind of like move down through the lower chakras, and that helped immensely. Okay. All right. So there's a lot I have to share with you. So I did a live some time ago where I went off about work and jobs and just doing work in a state of needing to survive, just needing to make money. And I had mentioned that I was done with doing retail and these kind of like jobs that are not rewarding and they pay you crap, and I was just done with it. Well, at the time I was working, no, I think I was in transition, but I had started working shortly after that, and I was not happy, okay? I was not happy with what I was doing. That's also why some of you may have noticed too, for a period of time, that I wasn't engaging on Instagram or Facebook much. And I know sometimes I could do that if I'm going through something like spiritual, some sentences, symptoms, or whatever. I give myself time to kind of acclimate to those changes. But this time, that's not what it was for. It was because my hours were so crazy. I was getting up really early in the morning, going to sleep really late at night some nights. And the days that I had off, I couldn't even really do anything that was related to what I loved. I had to spend all my time catching up on rest. And I said to myself, this is not going to work. And this is exactly what I was talking about. So, there was like this feeling within me. It's like, even when I first started working at this place, I'm like, I don't want to be here. Like, I felt really deep inside, I'm like, I don't want to be here. Like, I really don't. But there was a part of me that's like, you know what? I just have to accept where I am and accept what's going on. And I kind of did, but I had a hard time doing that. So I had another opportunity come in for me while I was working at this place. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I should explore that opportunity. Maybe they'll pay a little bit more. And when I did explore this opportunity, I actually interviewed and things like that. And I was told that I had gotten the job. So I was like, okay, maybe this is a good step. I can leave out of this place and maybe things will start to grow for me if I go somewhere else. Another retail job, though, so it's like, whatever. All right, so I was told that I got the job. And what I did, some people may find stupid. Some people may find like, girl, you're crazy. You probably shouldn't have done that. But before I knew the start date for the new job, I actually quit the old job. Okay, they say, oh, you got to give 2 weeks notice, but there is no law that says that you actually have to do that. That's just a common courtesy. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll leave this job so I can start the new one. Well, the new job actually snatched the opportunity right from under me. So I was left with no job. Okay, and I've been in that position before. But I thought it was so interesting how it happened. Like, some people say, well, maybe you should have waited, until they gave you some sort of start date or confirmation. But I think there was a part of me that did not want to be at the previous job so bad. And I was tired and burnt out and just feeling empty because I wasn't being fulfilled by the work that I actually enjoy. I was like, it doesn't matter. If I quit, I got the job, so something's gonna work out, right? Yeah, no. I quit the previous job, and then with the new opportunity that I was supposed to have, that was taken away from me also. And it wasn't anything personal. It was just that we weren't on the same page when it came to scheduling. So she said, okay, well, we can't actually offer you the position. So I was like, all right. And that kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, what am I going to do now? Okay, so I was like sitting here, I'm like, shoot, I'm in this position. And the thing is that back last year, I think in November, December, the same thing happened. I was hired into a new position, but then the opportunity was taken away from me again for another reason. And I was left jobless. So things just they didn't work out. Hey, Kat. Ooh, hey. How are you? I haven't seen you on here yet. Thank you for joining me. Catherine, I'm talking to. Nice to see you. So, yeah. So, Catherine, you may find this interesting if you want to watch it later. So, while I discuss this, I don't know how long you've been on. But I was just telling everybody that, I was working and a new opportunity was snatched from me. So, I was left on my ass. No job. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to pay bills? So it was interesting. Now, before all of this happened, I had a wonderful conversation with Saint Germain. And he very nicely told me, you need to get your priorities straight. Okay? You need to get your priorities straight. Because you putting money first, you putting money as a priority, is not helping you, okay? Because when you, or anyone else for that matter, when money is placed as a priority or as the focal point of what drives you to do what you're doing, you can actually lose precious time on things that you actually value. You have less time to invest in those things that are actually valuable to you, okay? And I was like, that's such an interesting point that he made. You know, so he made it very clear that money should not be the priority. Even if you're doing a job that's just a job, don't go after something just to make money, okay? And I feel, especially for me, that is true. I cannot live like that anymore. And shortly after having this conversation with Saint Germain, you know, the situation happened. But another thing that Saint Germain had said to me was, you know, focus on doing what is in your heart, and we will take care of the rest. We'll take care of you, but you cannot run around and go applying job to job for the sole premise of surviving and trying to make money, you know. And I have another friend of mine who's also on the ascension path and older than me, and him and I discuss a lot of what I go through and what he's going through, and it's nice to be able to discuss these things with friends. And he said something that Saint Germain also said to me, and he said, you need to stop focus on doing so much. Don't make this life experience at this point so much about, well, I have to do this, or I have to go after this. The impression that I got was that it's a very unnatural way of being. Is that just focus on letting life be lived through you, as opposed to you being a separate entity trying to make it through life, or trying to live life, you know, or trying to get something out of life. So I'm at this point now where there's so many things. Focusing on just being, allowing whatever needs to come, or allowing whatever pops up, whatever inspiration comes to me, whatever comes in my heart, let that be the driving force. You know, let that be what motivates me to do anything that I'm doing. But it needs to come from the heart, and it needs to come from a place of realness, of authenticity. It can never come from a place of needing to survive or needing to make ends meet. And I feel like this is true for a lot of people, but especially for me, it's true because I'm moving into a state where I can't, anything that I do needs to be based on what I feel and what I know to be true for myself. Having integrity, you know, not allowing what other people think I should be doing to influence what I actually do. Because I found that it's actually caused more misery, and it's actually made things worse. So it's been tough, especially recently, because this just happened recently. Like, this wasn't weeks ago. This was, what's today? Friday. Today's Friday. This was just this last week this happened, okay? So it's a very recent change that happened. So one of the main lessons I'm learning right now is to be in a state of trust, and to be in a state of receptivity when it comes to living my life. Trusting Spirit, trusting that they're taking care of me, which is true for all of you. Spirit is always taking care of you, and if you take a step back for a second, you'll be able to see that. But we're afraid to allow it, of course. So learning that lesson, and also needing to learn the lesson that in order for you to start a new life, you can't take with you the tendencies that you had in your old life. You know, so in the past, being under pressure to pay bills and to pay rent, and just going out there and applying for every job in the universe, you know, and then ending up with something that I'm not happy with, being miserable, I can't take that into the next life. So one of my lessons has been letting go of that. And that has been hard. Hard in a way because it's scary, you know? And it's so weird because that way wasn't working anyway. Hi, Mary. Looks like I've never met you before. You must be new. Thank you for joining me either way. I really appreciate it. So I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, so not taking the old tendencies into the new life. But it's very interesting because the old way wasn't working anyway. I think in the past I was more willing to accept the kind of misery and the drudgery and needing to do what I need to do just to make ends meet. But now, because Spirit is living through me, it's living through all of you, really. Spirit is learning through all of us. The divine is learning through all of us. Because of that, it's like, in order for that to happen fully, you can't be the one that tries to control a situation. And you can't live your life based off of fear. You have to have full confidence that, okay, if you're following your heart, you're following Spirit, Spirit will support you. Spirit will take care of you, okay? So right now I'm in this position where I'm like, okay, I'm applying for different things right now, but nothing like before, okay? My thing is, I want to go full-time with my work. I want to go full-time doing work for Spirit, supporting you all, right? I love doing that. I love supporting you. But things need to grow, and things take time to grow. So I'm going to have something in order to support my goals, okay? However, instead, like how I was doing in the past, just getting anything, I'm much more selective with what I'm doing, is this a warm and nurturing environment? Are these people kind? How much are they paying? It doesn't have to be tons and tons of money. I don't want to get attached to a job for the money, but, I feel like they need to at least be fair within my standards. Is this something that I'd be okay managing with my workload, workload in terms of what I want to do, what I love to do? Would I be able to manage it, with all my other responsibilities, and instead of taking on a whole big load and then I can't handle any of it, because that's what was happening before. So I'm being much more selective with this process, okay? And I've actually found that I've been rewarded greatly for doing that. And I feel like that's something that happens when you start listening to your heart and you start listening to Spirit. You're rewarded for that. Like, you see the results of that in many different ways, shapes, and forms, but Spirit will show you how much you are supported if you just listen to your heart and you just listen to what you feel guided by Spirit to do, okay? And what I want to tell you as well is that you are not punished by Spirit, like, not in the way that a parent punishes a child. You're not directly punished by Spirit for not listening to your heart. You're punishing yourself. If you don't listen to if you don't listen to your intuition and you don't listen to your heart, you feel it, and you end up putting yourself in situations where if you had just listened to what you were being told to begin with, you wouldn't be in it. So in a way, because we are all Spirit is rewarding us, and we're pretty much rewarding ourselves, for listening to our own hearts and our own intuition. But like I said, your guides, your spiritual team, they don't judge you, for not listening to your intuition. They know it's a journey. They know it's a path. They know we're learning, and it's a learning curve. And little by little, we learn through experience that, doing things this way isn't working for me, okay? It's taxing. It's making me sick. It's making me miserable. They know that little by little, if you're in tune with them and you really do want to grow and you want to live the life that you had imagined, filled with love and peace and joy and all these things, it's always accessible to you. But I forgot where I was going with that. They know it's a learning curve. They know that you're learning along the path. And if you're in touch with them, they'll give you the signs and the support that you need. I kind of forgot where I was going, so I'm like filling in the blanks. But yeah, that's what's been happening with me. Oh, and one more thing. So when I was in the bathroom getting myself ready, we had a special guest enter that actually wanted to make their way in for this live as well. And that's Melchizedek, okay? And I absolutely love Melchizedek. But for me, Melchizedek is not one person. It's not an individual. It's not an individual like personality. For me, Melchizedek is more like a group of beings that work under the Melchizedek umbrella. You know, so they all have a special purpose within the universe and ways that they contribute to universal and divine order. But anyway, that's the energy that came through. And one of the things that this energy wanted to bring forth was the law of attraction. Okay, I don't really use that term very often. Hi, Shamina, how are you? So I don't use that term that often, but when they mention the law of attraction, what they're pretty much saying is that whatever energy you're putting out is what you're going to bring to you, okay? So they want to put special emphasis on that and to not underestimate that, okay? So when it comes to, I feel like they're when they mention this, they want to talk about that in terms of the energy that we're putting out and the life that we're creating, you know? So through whatever energy that we're emitting, through every choice that we make, based on whether it be our emotional state or our intentions, is creating the life that we're currently living. Okay? And if you think about it, it's like any small little decision that maybe we made differently in the past might have put us in a different place. It's kind of scary. But so I feel like what they want to share is that when you're in alignment and you're in a place of being in your heart space, which means that you're in touch with your soul, which means you are then in touch with your higher self. When you have that connection and you maintain that, you can make decisions from a place of truth and light and authenticity, and you start creating a life that serves your highest good, okay? So in order for you to be in that space, you know, you have to focus on that space, focus on the love that you have within your heart that has been gifted to you from the time of your incarnation, even before you were a human. Bringing your focus and attention on that, you know, and not allowing fear, anything fear-based, to take over you. And that's a very hard thing. You know, it's not the easiest thing to do, but it is possible, okay? And it's a bit of an up and down journey. But basically what they're saying is if you allow fear-based thoughts or any sort of like emotional burdens to direct your life, that's the kind of life that you're going to start creating. And again, it's no sort of punishment that they're putting on you, but you're learning through your experience. You're learning through whatever it is that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So, and I feel like one of the things I want to say in reference to that is, let's say, for example, when I was at my last job, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all. Like, I was exhausted. The thing is, I wasn't even working like full time. But even though I wasn't working full time, I spent so much time trying to recover from being drained and exhausted that I just was totally off balance. You know, I was probably malnourished. I probably wasn't eating the way I was supposed to be eating. Probably dehydrated. Emotionally taxed. You know, my patience was wearing off, and I was a little bit concerned for my immune system. So all these things, I wasn't in the right state of mind or being at all. And funnily enough, what I noticed is that financially, I suffered also. And I feel that that was actually a direct reflection, at least in this case. It was a direct reflection of where I was mentally and emotionally and physically. Okay? And I find at this point that when I'm in alignment with what brings me joy, that's when I notice the abundance really start manifesting in my life. So once I left this place, you know, in a very interesting way, I noticed more abundance start to come in. So I was like, no, that's very interesting. But I feel like this is what they're talking about. It's a reflection of your energy and where you're placing your focus, where you're placing your attention, and what your overall state is. That can have a huge influence on what you're experiencing in the present moment, okay? So I think it's pretty cool. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I wanted to share. There's some things that I do want to share, but I'm not going to actually share them until after the retrograde is over, because I want to get the details in order, and I want to make sure that everything looks and feels the way I want it to look and feel before I actually share it with you. But basically, these things that I'm going to be sharing with you are going to be a reflection of my goals. And like I said, my goal is to truly go full time with my work, to be able to give you the advice, the support, the information, whatever it is, the support that you need on this journey. So I'm really excited to be able to start fully committing to that, because it's really important to me. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that. I thought Saint Germain's insight was awesome. So that's a message for all of you. Get your priorities in order. What is the most important thing in your life? You know, don't let, see, for me, what's in my heart is most important to me. That would be my spiritual work, my friends, my family, my fiance, you know, things that I enjoy doing. That's the priority. You know, so get your priorities in order. What brings you joy? Focus on the joy, you know. The money will come. The money is attracted to joy, okay? So be happy first. Be grateful first. You know, focus on what brings love into your heart first, and spirit will take care of you, okay? So that's a message for you all too. Yeah, and hang in there with these energies. If you have lavender oil, please use lavender oil. It helped me so much. If you have lavender tea, you can use that as well. Or, I don't know, I have to sit and really feel out what else. Nothing really comes to mind right now. I feel like you can even use teas that are infused with like berries, you know, that might also be very helpful if you don't have like lavender. So maybe eating more fruit would also be helpful if you don't have like lavender oil, or any kind of oil that has like a floral scent to it. Even like rose would be nice too. Rose, geranium, things like that. So be creative with your self-care. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. But I'm going to be posting this on YouTube, so if you want to watch it in its entirety and leave a comment or something, be my guest. You know, I'm still kind of trying to recover from everything that's happened, this past month. So I'm going to try to be on here as much as I can to be able to talk to you guys. But I send you so much love from my heart, and I hope you all have a great night. So take care. Bye-bye.